And we are back. What's going on, you guys? My name is Noel. Welcome to my commentary entertainment channel where I talk about whatever it is that I want to talk about. And yeah, y'all know what we here do. I'm continuing off my Bad Girls Club Honest Opinion videos where I rewatch all the Bad Girls Club seasons and then give my honest opinion on them. And today we are doing BGC 10. So let's just hop right on up in the video. Before I get started, real quick, if you'd like to follow me on social media, you can follow me on Instagram, or you can follow me on Twitter. Whichever one do you want. Pick your poison. Alright, before I get started, once again, we are talking about a edited reality TV show that has been off the air since 2017. I have nothing against any of these girls. They have moved on with their lives. Some of them have businesses, some of them are famous, some of them have kids. Like, they're living their lives. Like, this is nothing personal, this is nothing malicious, this is just purely for fun, entertainment, commentary to talk about a TV show that a lot of people care about and love. I am not talking about the girls personally, I'm talking about them as the edited characters that they were portrayed as on this reality TV show that is, once again, has not been on the air since 2017. And before we get started, I also ranked all of the Bad Girls Club season 10 episodes. I ranked them from 1 out of 10. Alright, so season 10 was a good season. I honestly, the lowest I gave an episode was like a 7 out of 10. Like, it was always entertaining, there was plenty of drama, there was good dynamics, and it was good. Like, it was good. And honestly, when it comes to reunions, I think season 10 is probably number 2 behind season 9. Season 9 has the best reunion, and I think season 10 is right behind it with a great reunion, because the reunion was given everything that it needed to give. Alright, so now we're going to start by talking about the girls, and I'm going to start from least favorite to favorite. Once again, nothing personal. Okay, we're going to start with Shannon. Oh. Shannon. Where do I begin? Shannon was a mess. And honestly, people think that Valentina is like the villain of season 10. I don't consider Valentina the villain. Now, after this last watch, I consider Valentina to be an anti-hero. She's problematic, but she's an anti-hero. Shannon is a villain. Okay, let's just get started. Let's get started with like the Kutsa Kente comment. Shannon should have been out of the house when she called Valentina Kutsa Kente. And I don't care. Like, I don't care. I don't care that Shannon claims that she does not know who Kutsa Kente is and she's never heard of Kutsa Kente. Lies. You're not going to tell. Well, number one, Kutsa Kente is a very specific reference. For those of you who don't know, Kutsa Kente is a character. I don't know if it's based on a real story, but it's in the movie Roots, which is about American slavery being brought from Africa to America and enslaved. And Kutsa Kente is like the main character. He's like enslaved, forced to change his name. I think he gets his leg cut off. I didn't watch Roots. Traumatic. I try to stay away from slavery. I don't need to relive that. But yes. So Shannon's gonna say something that she doesn't know who Kutsa Kente is, but girl, you knew who Kutsa Kente was enough to call not the only black girl, Valentina's not the only black girl. You called the black girl who was from Africa, because everybody knows that on season 10, Valentina was very vocal about the fact that she was raised in America, she was raised in Maryland, but she's from Nigeria. She didn't call Paula Kutsa Kente. She called Valentina Kutsa Kente. Valentina, who is from Africa. That is a very specific reference, and you cannot tell me that you, as a white person, used Kutsa Kente as an insult and you had no prior knowledge. Like, that reference was way too specific for you to, like, not know who that was. Like, you knew who Kutsa Kente was. I'm not saying Shannon watched Roots or she researched Roots or she knows everything about Roots, but she knew enough to call the one black girl from Africa Kutsa Kente. So she'd have been gone from there. And I know that I know they addressed it at the reunion talking about, like, some people were mad at Valentina for, like, not doing more. I am not gonna tell another black person how they should react to, like, racism and microaggressions and, you know, racially charged remarks. I'm never gonna do that. Everybody is different. Sometimes, you know, shock factors. What I will say is, I'm not gonna say that Valentina had to put her hands on Shannon, but I will say if Janae can get put out the house for being drunk and problematic, I feel like Shannon could have got her bags packed and this trash bags taken outside as well. Okay? I'm just saying, she called you Kutsa Kente. Not saying you had to slap the girl, but I'm just like, hey, while y'all are packing up Janae's stuff and bringing Janae's stuff outside, pack up Shannon's stuff too and put it outside as well. On top of that, let's talk about Jerry. So if the Kutsa Kente comment wasn't bad enough, Shannon, you put Rocky, the new girl in the house, in a bed with a man. Rocky was passed out drunk. Yes, she was laying in a bed frame with a blanket, but like, you claimed that she was gonna be safer with your friend Jerry. Number one, Jerry was already creepy. Many of the girls said that he was creepy and weird. And when you watch the episode back, Jerry is a weird, like he's like licking his fingers, he's jumping around. Yeah, he's throwing money, but it's just weird. And like for you to put a blackout drunk girl in a bed with a man that she does not know, that's horrible. Like Shannon did several problematic things. And on top of that, like, you know, I know people don't like Valentina because season 10, she had a lot of problematic moments, and I will get to Valentina. But at least I can say Valentina stood on her stuff. Valentina would be, yeah, I did it, what about it? You know, but Shannon would play innocent and she would be so quiet and soft-spoken. She'd let people curse her out, yell at her, throw water in her face, treat her like dirt. And then when she gets behind the cameras in the confessionals, it's like all this mouth, all of this rage. And it's just like she was such a villain. She would say such like devious things. And I wouldn't even say Shannon has like she said the most devious things, but it's just like you're not sharing your full opinion.
Y'all be weak in the knees, stand up! Stand up!
And not to go back to the Kunta Kinte thing, I'm not going to stick on that, but can we just acknowledge the fact that, one, you called a black woman who is from Nigeria Kunta Kinte as an insult. Then after you were confronted by everybody about it and how that's racist and racially charged, she then begins to cry when she's being called out for her racist behavior, only to then go into the confessionals and openly admit that those tears were crocodile tears. So you admit as a white woman that once you were confronted for your racist remarks, that you used tears to deflect from it.
Oh my God, corny, lame, boo, tomato, 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 I'm throwing tomatoes.
And then I was just getting so tired of this whole, like, Shannon's whole rebuttal was, oh, I only date black guys, which we do see on the show. But like, no, like we've already talked about this on the show, I'm not gonna get into it, but like, I've already talked about this on this channel, but I'm not gonna get into it. Just because you date black people, or you have a black child, or you have sex with black people does not mean that you are not racist. Does not mean that you are above bigotry. And Rocky said the same thing in her defense when they were at the reunion, like, oh yeah, Shannon dates black guys. That means nothing. There are plenty of white women who date black guys who do not like black people. There are plenty of white people who have mixed race children who are still problematic and say racist things. Like, it means nothing. And then I'm glad that he touched on this at the reunion, but like Shannon was training. Like the fact that Shannon was like always doing push-ups, doing sit-ups, doing like these like laps in the pool to like get her physique up, and like she never got into a physical altercation. Except for with Paula, but she didn't even defend herself. She just literally was training for no reason. And then the last thing I'm gonna say about Shannon, and I'm gonna move on, is that Shannon really ruins the season 10 reunion because she talks so much. And not saying that she's not allowed to talk, but it was just like she was just constantly throwing out insults. Every single word, I was bullied, I was hurt, I was bullied, I was hurt, I was bullied, I was tortured every single day. Was Shannon mistreated to an extent? Absolutely. Like those girls walked all over her at certain points. But Shannon was making it seem like she was walking through like season 11. And you know what? I'm gonna refrain from like going too deep into it because once again, I'm not on the Bad Girls Club. I've never been on the Bad Girls Club. I didn't live in that house, so I don't know what was said, what was done behind cameras. All I'm gonna say is like, there were clear moments that people came to Shannon and was like, this is, the things that you're doing are not okay. And it's like, Shannon, like, yes, these girls were rude to you at points, but you did several problematic things that gave people a justified reason to not want to deal with you. Like, I don't think she fully comprehended that. Moving on to Alicia. Alicia was a menace. She was a menace. Alicia was a menace. She was a villain. But Alicia was not one of my favorites on the show, but I didn't like, she wasn't one of those bad girls I was just like, oh, I hate seeing her on the scene. Like, I was like, ugh. It just made me, I was just like rolling my eyes. Like, I was like, okay. Like, she jumps people, and then, you know, she talks a lot of stuff. She made that really inappropriate comment about Shannon being, you know, out. So she did a lot of problematic things, and I will say, at least I enjoyed, I'll talk about it later, but like I really enjoyed how like there were moments in the show where like at least everybody in the season 10 house would come together and be like, you know what? This is not okay. I'll get into some more things, but like they came together at certain points in the house and said, this behavior that you are doing is not okay. Even if they didn't like the person, they'd like, this is not okay. So I appreciate them like standing up for Shannon in that moment. But yeah, I don't really have a lot to say about Alicia. Like, she was problematic. She wasn't my favorite. She jumped in a lot of fights. She jumped into a lot of Valentina's fights. Her and Valentina shared the same brain, which they both admitted. But I'm not really too upset about Alicia. Like, I don't have a lot to say about Alicia. Also, one thing I don't like, I really hate when like girls on Bad Girls Club, like they double down their problematic behavior. And I don't like when they come to the reunion and like, it's like they don't have a good explanation. Like when they asked Alicia, why did you jump Rocky? She had no clear explanation. It was just like, I didn't believe in jumping. Rocky and Shannon, you guys are very marketable. And it's like, those are not justifications. And I mean, you can't justify for like physically assaulting somebody, especially while someone else is physically assaulting them, like joining in with someone else to physically assault them. There's no justification for that. but like she just had like no remorse and no clear reasoning. Like it was very clear that it was just like she just didn't like people and she did some messed up stuff, and that's what it was. I mean, next I have is Valentina, not Valentina. So as we all know, Valentina probably got the most hate out of season 10 because she was problematic. She jumped in fights, she was yelling a lot, she was very like combative. I will say, because I've already seen the All-Star battle, so I've seen that Valentina was like, after the show, she like really changed. She's a lot more positive, a lot more calm, a lot kinder. So like it made it easier for me to watch this season because I know the person that she would become after the show. One thing I will say about Valentina, I don't consider her the villain because I just like Shannon more than Valentina. And honestly, Shannon was so problematic that to me, this go around watching it, that it made me like Valentina even more. Even though Valentina was completely problematic in a lot of things that she did. Like Shannon was so bad that I was glad that Valentina was on her head. And honestly, after that Kutsu Kensei comment, Valentina had every right to be on Shannon's neck every single day. Like if Valentina woke up every day and cursed that girl out, she had every right to do so. So I'm not even mad. Like Valentina honestly gave Shannon a lot more leeway than she really deserved. Moving forward, I will say Valentina, whether I liked it or not, she stuck up to her guns. She stuck up for her guns. Like she didn't care. Like literally, Rocky confronted her like, girl, you jumped me. And Valentina literally said, I don't care, I jumped you. You had a problem with it, do something. And nothing happened. Not saying anybody was scared, I'm just saying Valentina said several times, oh yeah, I did it, what you gonna do about it? Like she was very transparent about, I did it, you don't like it, do something. Like she never lied, she never tried to fake innocent. She was like, nah, I did it, what about it? Who's gonna do something, who's gonna do something about it? And I respect that. Didn't like it, but I respected the fact that Valentina, like if you're gonna be combative and be a villain on reality TV, or in this case an anti-hero, then stand in 10 toes. You can't be a villain. I hate the people who try to be villains on reality TV and it's like when they get confronted, oh no, I'm really a nice person and yada yada. No. If you're gonna play the villain role, play it and commit to it. And then another thing I'll say about Valentina is I really enjoyed her goofy moments. Like they showed a lot of moments of her being lighthearted and goofy. And if you go back and watch when Jin and Rocky get into it in the bathroom in that restaurant or that club, like Valentina's in the limo calming Rocky down. So like she had some good moments, but it's just like Valentina, for me, she would take one step forward and then 2 steps back. Yeah, this is where she is in my season 10 ranking or whatever. Okay, next we have Jin. 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 I mean, Jin was Jin. She was Jin. She did what she did. Is it annoying for someone to eat your food? Absolutely. But the Hot Pocket was not that worth it. Was not worth it. Especially since like Rocky stated that like she went and made her another Hot Pocket. So yes, the girl ate your food, but she made you another one. Like if you ate my food and then you make me another plate, I'm not gonna keep going on it. So for Jin to like mush her in the face with the food that Rocky made because she ate it was too much. And I definitely feel like she used Rocky as like her moment to prove herself. I'm glad that Valentina and the other girls were just like, you know what, Jin is like the problem. Like Rocky's not the problem, Jin's the problem. Because Jin is literally looking for any reason to beef with Rocky. Like anything that Rocky says or does, just Jin is going to like find a way to personalize it to herself, take offense, and then attack her. Like and did Rocky do some weird stuff? Absolutely, Rocky definitely did some weird stuff. But like Rocky would just be partying, being drunk, doing herself, not bothering anybody, and then Jin would come to her and be like, girl, you're weird, and then throw food and water and stuff on her. So this wasn't a good look, and like honestly, when Jin left, it was her time to go, because at this point, it's like you're fighting this girl over and over, and Rocky's not starting with her. Okay, next we have Janae. I don't really have that many things to say about Janae because she was on this season for such a short period of time. I think that all I can do is say the obvious. Like, the girl was sweet, but she drank too much. She was doing too much. She kept starting with Nikki and all the other girls and getting drunk and just getting so upset and angry about everything, things that didn't even matter. She was doing a lot. And honestly, when I was seeing her like introduction when she was meeting Valentina before they even went to the house, Jin looked like she was drunk. Like she sounded like she was slurring her words, like she was drunk already. She's just doing too much. That's all I have to say about her. And honestly, I put Jin in this ranking just because I put Janae. Oh my god, Janae. I said her name wrong. I've been saying her name wrong. Janae. I put Janae in this spot just because like, while Janae wasn't my favorite by any means because she didn't do much but get drunk and start problems and then get kicked out, she wasn't problematic. She was like she was less problematic than Shannon, Valentina, Jen, and all the other people who are before her in this ranking. So she's like a chaotic neutral. Watching the season, it was so cringy watching her because she kept saying how, oh yeah, you don't want to get dropped. They got the wrong girl in this house, and then for her to get jumped and then beat up and then kicked out was really embarrassing. That's all I gotta say about Janae. I don't really have a lot to say about Janae. She just drank a lot. And then next I have on my ranking from least favorite to favorite is Nancy. I feel the same way about Nancy that I feel about Janae. Like Nancy was cool. She was just chilling. Like she didn't do enough for me to form a strong opinion about her. Like she had a little fling with Stephanie, which was kind of cool, and I enjoyed that. I enjoyed them, like, not them watching, because I don't care about, you know, girl on girl action. It's not for me. I appreciate them communicating and like watching their friendship evolve and stuff. Aside from the one moment where she found that Rocky and was like talking mess about her and laughing at her, that was about it. And I mean, she was justified to be angry because they were like talking mess about her. But aside from that, like, Nancy was chilling. She hooked up with Yosan. She got drunk. She had fun. Like, she was just a chill person. So I like Nancy, but I don't have as strong enough feelings for her to put her higher up in the ranking. And then next we have Stephanie. And Stephanie is once again, like, I will say this. Season 10 did have some, like, I don't want to say forgettable, but like very chill personalities. And unfortunately, with a show like Bad Girls Club that feeds on drama and fighting and like derogatory statements and like hyper aggressive and violent situations, if you're a very chill person, you're not gonna stand out as much unless you're super funny. And Stephanie was like Janae and Nancy. She was cool. I just didn't have enough. She didn't do enough for me to like, you know, develop strong opinions. But I will say Stephanie was definitely needed because her storylines didn't involve fighting, so like it was a good pace breaker. Like, we were watching her relationship with Dre and Nancy, so like, yes, Bad Girls Club, people love the fights, and the fights are entertaining. It's the fights are what bring people back, and the drama brings people back. But like, I don't know, maybe it's because I'm older, but like watching Bad Girls Club, if it's just fighting after fighting after fighting, like people just shouting and screaming for like 48 minutes, like if there was a whole season of just fighting over nonsense, I guarantee you, even the most hardcore Bad Girls Club fans would be tired. Because it's like, we need to chill. Like, yes, we can watch the hyper moments. We need a moment of chill. We need things to be calm at moments so that we can digest it. Because it's a lot of energy to be throwing at the screen. So yes, that's how I feel about Stephanie. Although I will say Stephanie was definitely biased towards Rocky. Because when Jen was assaulting Rocky and throwing bottles and throwing food on her and alcohol in her face, Stephanie and Valentina and them were like, oh girl, don't you dare swing back on her. Like, y'all are watching this girl get attacked for, I don't know how long it went on, but it went on for a long time, and y'all are literally telling her, don't, if you defend yourself, it's gonna be a problem. So it's just like, But Stephanie was cool. Okay, next we have Paula. Paula, the voice of reason, everyone's conscious, the one who was like looking at the situation from like, you know, the right sides of right and wrong, not favorites or favoritism or whatever. So I appreciate that. Paula clocked Shannon, and I appreciated Paula. Like, was Paula getting to a point where like I was like, okay, Paula, leave Shannon alone because like she's not gonna defend herself. Like, for me, like if I yell at somebody or I get into it with somebody and it's very clear that this person is non-confrontational or they don't have the balls to say what they have to say face to face, then just leave it alone. Like, it's just talk at that point. Like, who cares? Like it's like, yeah, Shannon's fake, but like Shannon's like harmless. Like, I will say once again, like Stephanie, I feel like Paula was definitely biased towards Rocky, especially towards the reunion, because when it came time for like, do you guys feel like Rocky was like bullied or abused? Answer was yes. And Paula's explanation was kind of like Paula and Stephanie saying that Rocky was more misunderstood and like we all can get along was really a cop-out to me. Like, everybody at the reunion collectively were like, Rocky's not the issue, Shannon is the issue. But like, nobody was giving out apologies. Like, nobody was like, you know what, Rocky, we're sorry that we came at you the way that we came at you. Shannon is the one that really is the issue. Like, just saying, oh, we all can't get along is really a cop-out and doesn't really like justify your action. That's how I feel about that. But I like Paula overall. I just feel like she was biased when it came to Rocky. And although she like would say like Valentina's wrong and Alicia's wrong, I still don't think she like, that whole fighting does not make you a bad girl speech that she gave to like Jen, she probably should have gave that to Valentina and Alicia, because they would jump and then, you know, nobody would care. Okay, next we're getting to the last two, the top two. We got Nikki. Nikki was cool, Nikki was crazy, Nikki was the first person I say who really went up against Valentina. Like, I definitely think the season would have been good I think the season would have definitely gone differently had Nikki stayed. I think like had Nikki stayed, Shannon and Rocky would have definitely had an ally, and I definitely think that like there would have been someone else to like really counter Valentina, because yes, Rocky would stand up for herself, but like Rocky was very reactionary. Like Rocky was like, she wouldn't defend herself until someone else would come at her. Like people would people would just be poking at Rocky, and then she would just take it all in, and then when she finally had enough, she would explode. But like Nikki was very much like, don't play with me. And I appreciated that. I appreciated Nikki being outspoken. I appreciated her like, yes, I appreciated her like saying, hey you guys, don't throw food on Janae, but like, and bullying. And she did acknowledge that she took part in it, but like, you know, you was laughing at Janae getting put out. You was helping move the bags too. So it's like, yes, you're standing up for bullying, but you also participated in it. I definitely think that Nikki was like, she was over it. And I appreciate it. And I definitely think that the Bad Girls Club, it takes a certain mentality to do it. Like a certain mental strength. And I don't think she was ready for that. And I get it, Tanisha's the host, it's the Bad Girls Club, but like, I don't think there's anything wrong with a bad girl realizing I don't belong in the show. I don't think there's anything wrong with bad girls saying, you know what, I went, I experienced it, I realized that it's not something that I want to do, it's not me. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. All they do is drink and party. Drink, party, get hungover, rinse and repeat. Like, they're in a house forever. Like, they're basically on house arrest to an extent with like occasional visitations to the outside world. So like, I don't think there's anything wrong with like a bad girl being like, you know what, I had fun, but like, it's not for me. Like the girl, she left, Nikki went and enrolled in like nursing school. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I just don't like how they're like, oh girl, but you left early and you're leaving the viewing early. She's over it. She's over it. Like, look at the, like, if you see Bad Girls Club in HD, those girls have scratches, they got bruises, they got bloody noses. Like, it's not for everybody. And I don't think there's anything wrong for Bad Girl realizing that, like, it's not for her. Especially because Nikki left early. She left pretty, like, almost, like, a little before mid-season. So, like, I guess it's one thing for a girl, like, I guess Alex from, like, BGC 12, who, like, clearly did not belong in the Bad Girls Club, but, like, stayed to, like, the night before it was over. Like, girl, you knew it wasn't for you. You should have left sooner. Like, Nikki left soon enough for someone else to take her spot and like bring something else to the table. So I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And then of course, last but not least, we have Rocky, the best, the fan favorite, the hero, the protagonist of season 10. Because Rocky was just that girl, you know? I will say Rocky did some weird stuff, like her burping and farting a lot when she was drunk. It's kind of gross. But then again, they're in a mansion, like live your life, girl. I will say Rocky did do weird stuff, like when she was just like shouting and like drunkenly like, I'm Rocky Balboa. That's a little cringy, but that's her business. She's a party. She wants to party, that's how she parties. And then I'll also say that her, like when she was messing with the lesbian girl, well I guess Rocky's bisexual, but messing with the lesbian girl, and they were like kind of like dry humping or like sat like on top of each other in the middle of like the roller rink. That's a little bit much. That's a little bit much for the public space. That was a little weird. But Rocky is definitely a good, she stood her ground. I wish Rocky would have like, the mentality that she ended the season with, she would have had earlier on. Because I definitely think Rocky was very much being I'm gonna stay calm. Yes, they can throw stuff on me, they can hit me or whatever, but I'm not gonna like fight a bunch of times. Like, I respect that, but I definitely think like it came to a point where like, girl, the moment someone throws a beer bottle at you, you gotta defend. And I will say, out of anybody, Rocky definitely had the hardest experience living in the Bad Girls Club house. And I think Rocky was the unluckiest in the Bad Girls Club house because she had to choose between two evils. You got Shannon over here, who put her in a bed with a drunk man, who nobody likes because she said the Kuta Kente comment, who's really fake, who talks all this mess and does all these push-ups and all these stuff, like giving her advice on how to fight people, but when someone gets in Shannon's face, she like cowers like a little mouse. And then when Rocky like confronts her about it, she like cries. And then she has everybody else who's really fake. Like, the girls were fake AF. Like, when Jen left, I really hated when Jen left and they were like, oh yeah, Rocky, well you haven't been coming around us and you haven't been friends with us because you think that you look at us as Jen's friends. It's like, no, when Jen is literally pulling her hair and throwing food on her and you guys are telling her, if you touch her, it's gonna be a problem, y'all are being biased. Y'all have chosen a side. Like, y'all were not kind to this girl. Y'all were not hospitable to her. Y'all were not welcome and open arms with her. So like, I just felt like they were gaslighting Rocky. Like, they really gaslit her as soon as Jen left. Like, oh my gosh, girl, you didn't come around. And Rocky was like, you know, not everybody has been nice, not everybody has been kind. But honestly, I feel like I really wish Rocky would have been like, listen, y'all are being fake right now. Because when Jen was here, y'all was not fucking with me. Y'all was not cool with me. Y'all did not like me when Jen was here. Now that Jen's gone, you changed y'all tune. Stop it. Stop it. It was terrible. And I felt bad for Rocky because whenever the girls would get mad at her and Shannon, she would get hit. They'd be like, Shannon had her panties showing in the club. Smack Rocky. Shannon did this. Shannon and Rocky, yada 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 yada. Smack Rocky. Smack Rocky. Like, they would be yelling at Shannon and Rocky, but yet when it ever escalated to physical violence, it was like everybody punch Rock, everybody scratch Rock, everybody mush Rocky. And then Shannon would just be standing over there like, they were angry at both of them, but only one person was getting spanking. Okay, wow, this video is gonna be super long. I have to edit this shit down. Whatever. But that's the end of this video, you guys. Hope you enjoyed it. I'm gonna continue with the Bad Girls Club seasons, and I'm gonna get the series done because I told you I'm gonna get the series done. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what your comments down below. Also on these videos, I do not talk about who won what fight and yada yada yada. So that's what you came here for. Sorry about it. I'm not talking about it. I'm not doing that because nobody wins. But if you want to debate, if you want to debate down there, debate anything. Debate about who your favorite bad girls were. What, you know, moments were iconic to you. You know, anything that you wanted, whether you agreed or disagreed with my opinions, put them down in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell notification down below so that you can notify when I upload new videos. And I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching my video, and I will see you next time. Peace.
Boy toy named Troy used to live in Detroit.